Okay, so ready to dive into a deep dive on how to prepare for a building exterior cleaner interview.
You bet. Always excited to help people get ready for a big career move.
And thankfully, we have some really useful resources from RoleCatcher to help us out with this deep dive.
Oh, yeah, RoleCatcher has some great stuff. They've got these guides on interview questions, even insights into how AI can give you a real edge.
It's like having a cheat sheet and a coach all rolled into one.
Pretty much.
So let's get started. First things first, what does a building exterior cleaner actually do?
Well, it's more than just cleaning. They're the ones who really maintain the whole look and feel of a building's exterior. Think pressure washing, graffiti removal, even handling those minor
It's
repairs.
like they're the unsung heroes of curb appeal.
Yeah, totally. And here's a fun fact. The demand for building exterior cleaners is actually growing.
Really? Why is that?
Well, for one thing, there's a huge focus on sustainability these days. Buildings are a big part of our environmental footprint, and keeping them in good shape is more important than ever.
That makes a lot of sense. So
Yeah.
you're actually stepping into a field with some real potential. And these role catcher guides are going to help you showcase that potential in your interview.
Exactly.
Are you ready to tackle some of those common interview questions?
Bring them on. I'm ready.
All right, let's start with this one. How did you first become interested in building exterior cleaning? It seems like a pretty straightforward question.
Oh, there's definitely more to it than meets the eye.
I was just thinking that. What's the interviewer really trying to figure out here?
Well, they're looking for genuine enthusiasm. They want to see that spark. Plus, they want to know you've put some thought into your career path. It shows you're serious.
Makes sense. So what would be like a major pitfall to avoid when answering this one?
Definitely avoid giving a really vague or generic response. Instead, think about that spark. Think about what really got you interested. Was it a specific project you saw, a mentor maybe, or maybe it was this growing concern for environmental sustainability? Tie it back to something personal, something meaningful to you.
So what would a really, really strong answer sound like?
Okay, here's an example. I've always been fascinated by architecture and the way buildings really shape our urban landscape. When I discovered building exterior cleaning, I realized it combined my interest in construction with that satisfaction of restoring and preserving these structures. Plus, the fact that this field is becoming more and more focused on sustainability is a huge plus for me.
Ooh, I like that. It shows genuine interest, connects it to those personal values, and even highlights the growing importance of eco-friendly practices in the industry.
Exactly.
Perfect. Okay, next question. This one's all about safety. How do you ensure that you are following all safety protocols while working on a building exterior?
Super important question. Safety is obviously a top priority in this line of work.
Absolutely.
This question is really designed to assess your knowledge of those industry best practices, and your commitment to protecting yourself and everyone around you.
Right, because depending on the project, there could be a lot of potential hazards.
Right. Oh, yeah, absolutely. So when you're answering this question, don't just rattle off a list of equipment. Instead, walk the interviewer through your process. Explain how you would assess a job site for potential hazards, like uneven surfaces, power lines, things like traffic. Then detail those specific steps you would take to mitigate those risks.
Okay, so let's hear a sample answer that really nails it.
All right. Before starting any job, I conduct a thorough risk assessment of the site. This includes identifying potential hazards, things like uneven surfaces, power lines, even traffic flow. Based on the specific tasks and those risks involved, I carefully select the appropriate PPE for myself and any team members. And throughout the cleaning process, I maintain constant awareness of my surroundings, taking regular breaks to avoid fatigue, which can really compromise safety.
Wow, that answer is so detailed and comprehensive. It really shows a proactive approach to safety.
Safety first.
Always. Now, let's say the interviewer follows up with a question like, can you tell me about a time when you had to adjust your safety procedures due to unexpected circumstances on a job site? How would you approach that one?
So that's a great follow-up. This is your chance to really showcase your adaptability and problem-solving skills. Think about a specific instance where you had to think on your feet and adjust your approach to ensure safety.
Right, because things don't always go exactly as planned.
Yeah, never. It could be unexpected weather conditions, a structural issue with the building, or maybe even a change in the scope of work. The key is to show you can remain calm, assess the situation, and make those informed decisions to prioritize safety.
Perfect. All right, let's move on to the next question. How do you assess the condition of a building exterior before you begin a cleaning job? This one really seems to focus on your assessment skills.
This is where those analytical skills and attention to detail really come into play. The interviewer wants to see that you can accurately evaluate the building's needs and tailor your approach accordingly.
I was just thinking that. There must be a lot of factors to consider.
Absolutely. You need to consider the types of materials, that level of soiling, any signs of damage, and even the surrounding environment.
Yeah, you wouldn't want to use a harsh chemical cleaner near some delicate landscaping.
Exactly. So, when answering this question, make sure you avoid being too general.
Got it. So what would a standout answer sound like?
Something like this. Before starting any cleaning job, I do a thorough walkthrough of the building's exterior. I make note of the materials used, the severity and type of soiling, and any visible damage. I also consider the surrounding environment, like you said, nearby plants, water sources, to make sure I choose environmentally responsible cleaning methods. And if needed, I always consult with the property owner to discuss their specific concerns and expectations.
That's a great answer. So methodical. It shows attention to detail and even brings in that concept of environmental awareness.
Sustainability is key.
Absolutely. Now, do you think it would be helpful for candidates to bring a checklist or even some photos to the interview to illustrate this process?
Oh, that's a fantastic idea. It shows initiative, a commitment to professionalism. You could even create a mock-up assessment for a hypothetical building and walk the interviewer through your process.
That's a great tip. That would definitely make a candidate stand out. Okay, this next question is all about tackling those tough jobs. What is the most challenging building exterior cleaning job you have ever worked on, and how did you overcome the challenges?
Story time. This is your chance to really shine.
It is.
The interviewer wants to see evidence of your problem-solving skills, adaptability, and resilience. They want to know you can handle the unexpected.
So what would be like a weak answer for this question?
A weak answer would be vague or dismissive. For example, saying, I haven't really encountered any major challenges. Everyone faces challenges. It's how you overcome them that matters.
Okay, so let's hear a strong answer, something that grabs their attention.
Here's one. I once had to clean a historic building that had been severely neglected for years. The facade was covered in layers of dirt, grime, even some graffiti. The challenge was to remove the grime without damaging the delicate, aged brickwork. So to find the best approach, I researched different cleaning techniques and even consulted with a restoration specialist. We ended up using a combination of gentle pressure washing, specialized cleaning solutions, and even some hand scrubbing. In the end, it was incredibly rewarding to restore the building to its former glory.
Wow, that's a great example. It highlights resourcefulness, willingness to research and learn, and the ability to collaborate with others to get the job done.
Teamwork makes the dream work.
Now, let's say the interviewer asks a follow-up question, like, what did you learn from that experience that you now apply to all your projects? What would you say?
Oh, that's a fantastic follow-up. You could talk about the importance of thorough planning, the value of seeking expert advice when needed, or the need to be adaptable and adjust your approach as you go. Every challenge is a learning opportunity. And being able to articulate those lessons shows real growth and professionalism.
It really does. It's amazing how much depth there is to these interview questions. It's not just about knowing how to clean a building. It's about showcasing your problem-solving skills, your attention to detail, your ability to handle those unexpected challenges. But before we dive into more questions, let's take a quick detour and talk about something I found fascinating in RoleCatcher's career guide. It mentioned that this isn't just a job. It's a career path with real potential for growth and advancement.
Oh, absolutely. And one of the keys to unlocking that potential is showcasing your commitment to ongoing learning and professional development.
And they also mentioned the increasing use of eco-friendly cleaning methods. That's
Yeah.
exciting to see.
It is. Sustainability is a major focus in the industry, and employers are looking for people who are knowledgeable about those practices and eager to incorporate them into their work.
So it's not just about keeping buildings clean. It's about doing it in a way that's good for the environment.
Exactly. And that's something you can really highlight in your interview, showcasing your commitment to both quality work and sustainability. Now, are you ready for some more interview questions?
You bet. Bring them on.
All right, here's one that focuses on sustainability. How do you ensure that your cleaning methods are environmentally friendly and sustainable?
Oh, I have a feeling this is going to be a big one.
You're right. With those increasing concerns about climate change and environmental impact, eco-friendly cleaning practices are becoming absolutely essential. This question helps the interviewer assess your awareness of this trend and your commitment to sustainable practices.
So how can you really impress them with your answer? What
Yeah.
should you focus on?
First and foremost, showcase your knowledge of environmentally friendly cleaning solutions and techniques. For instance, you can mention using biodegradable detergents, minimizing water usage, opting for low-flow pressure washers, or even exploring dry steam cleaning methods. Don't forget to emphasize the importance of proper waste disposal too.
Would it be helpful to mention any specific certifications you might have related to sustainable cleaning practices?
Absolutely. If you have any relevant certifications, definitely mention them. It demonstrates your commitment to staying up to date on best practices and going the extra mile to reduce your environmental impact.
Okay, so what's a common mistake people make when answering this question?
A common pitfall is being too vague. Don't just say, I care about the environment. Back up your claims with specific actions, examples of techniques you use, and your knowledge of eco-friendly products.
Got it. So give us an example of a response that really hits the mark.
Here's a good one. I prioritize using biodegradable cleaning products that are effective and safe for the environment. I'm also mindful of my water usage, opting for water-saving techniques like low-flow pressure washers whenever possible. I'm constantly learning about new advancements in sustainable cleaning technologies, and I'm eager to incorporate them into my work.
I like that. It's concise, informative, and shows a genuine desire to make a difference. Now, let's say the interviewer follows up with, can you give me an example of a specific eco-friendly cleaning product or technique that you've used successfully? How would you approach that?
That's a great opportunity to dive into specifics. You could talk about a particular biodegradable cleaning solution you prefer, a water-saving technique you've mastered, or even a recent project where you successfully implemented eco-friendly practices. The more specific you can be, the better.
That makes a lot of sense. It's all about showing, not just telling.
Exactly. Okay, let's move on to our next question. How do you maintain the equipment you use for building exterior cleaning? It sounds pretty straightforward, but what are they really trying to assess here?
I was wondering that myself.
This question is about more than just knowing how to clean a pressure washer. The interviewer wants to gauge your responsibility, your understanding of equipment maintenance, and your ability to prevent those costly breakdowns. Remember, well-maintained equipment is essential for safety, efficiency, and the quality of your work.
So what would be a pitfall to avoid when answering this one?
Don't be dismissive. Saying something like, I just call a repair person if something breaks, isn't going to inspire confidence in your abilities. You want to show that you're proactive and you take ownership of your tools.
All right, so what would a strong answer that showcases your expertise look like?
Here's a good example. I perform regular inspections of all my equipment, checking for wear and tear. I also make sure to clean filters and nozzles regularly. I strictly follow the manufacturer's recommended maintenance schedules, and I'm comfortable performing minor repairs myself. I understand that well-maintained equipment is crucial for safety, efficiency, and preventing costly downtime.
That's a really thorough answer. It shows that you're not just an operator. You're someone who understands the importance of taking care of your tools.
It's all about respect for your craft.
Absolutely. Now, what if the interviewer throws a curveball and asks, can you describe a time when you had to troubleshoot a problem with your equipment on a job site? How would you handle that?
Another chance to showcase those problem-solving skills. Think of a time when you encountered an equipment issue, how you diagnosed the problem, and the steps you took to resolve it.
Yeah, because sometimes you have to think outside the box, right?
Exactly. Maybe you had to make a temporary repair in the field, or maybe you had to adapt your approach to complete the job with limited equipment. The interviewer wants to see that you can handle those unexpected situations and find solutions that keep the project moving forward.
For sure. Okay, before we move on to more questions, I want to circle back to something we mentioned earlier. Using AI to help you prepare for your interview.
Oh yeah, RoleCatcher's AI.
Yes. Tell us more about that.
It's a total game changer. RoleCatcher's AI analyzes job descriptions, breaking them down to identify the exact skills and experience they're looking for. Then it helps you tailor your answers to highlight those key qualifications.
So it's like having a personalized cheat sheet for each interview.
It's even better than that. It actually provides feedback on your answers, almost like having a personal interview coach. It can tell you if you're hitting the right points, if you're using the right language, and even if your tone is appropriate. It takes all the guesswork out of interview prep.
That's incredible. It seems like it would be especially helpful for those tricky behavioral questions, like the ones we've been discussing.
You're absolutely right. Those questions can be tough because there's no one right answer. But RoleCatcher's AI can help you craft responses that resonate with the specific employer and really showcase the skills they're looking for.
So it's not about giving canned responses. It's about understanding what the interviewer wants to hear and then presenting your experience in a way that aligns with their needs.
Exactly. It's about being authentic, but also being strategic. Now, are you ready for another round of questions?
Let's do it.
All right, this next question is a bit more introspective. What do you think are the most important qualities for a building exterior cleaner to have? Think about those key personality traits that make someone successful in this role.
Okay.
It's a way to show the interviewer who you are beyond just your skills and experience.
So what are some qualities that would be good to highlight?
Definitely emphasize attention to detail. Building exterior cleaning requires a keen eye to spot dirt, grime, and any potential damage. Physical stamina is also important because, the job can be pretty physically demanding. And don't underestimate the importance of strong communication skills, both for interacting with clients and for working effectively as part of a team.
Makes sense. What would be a less effective way to answer this question?
Avoid being too generic. Saying things like, I'm hardworking and dedicated doesn't tell the interviewer anything specific about you. Instead, provide examples from your experience that really demonstrate those traits in action.
Okay, so let's hear a sample answer that showcases those qualities.
Here's a good one. I believe that attention to detail is absolutely paramount in this job. I take pride in thoroughly inspecting every surface to ensure a spotless finish. I'm physically fit, and I genuinely enjoy the challenge of a demanding workday. And I'm a clear communicator who's always willing to collaborate with my team to ensure that the job is done safely and efficiently.
That's a great answer. It's direct, specific, and highlights those key qualities that employers are looking for. Now, let's say the interviewer asks a follow-up question like, can you tell me about a time when your attention to detail made a real difference on a project? How would you respond?
Oh, that's a fantastic opportunity to share a specific anecdote that illustrates your strength. Maybe you spotted a potential safety hazard that others missed, or perhaps you noticed a subtle detail that allowed you to achieve a particularly impressive cleaning result. Whatever the example, make sure it highlights your commitment to quality and your keen eye for detail.
Awesome. All right, let's tackle another challenging scenario. Can you describe a time when you had to work with a difficult property owner or manager and how you handled the situation? Dealing with difficult people is a skill in itself.
It definitely is. This question is designed to assess your interpersonal skills, those conflict resolution abilities, and your professionalism. The interviewer wants to know that you can handle those tricky situations with grace and composure.
So what are some pitfalls to avoid when answering this question?
The biggest trap is bad-mouthing the property owner or manager. Even if you had a legitimate grievance, focus on the positive aspects of how you handled the situation. Remember, the interviewer is assessing your ability to handle conflict, not your ability to complain.
Right. All right, what would a great answer sound like?
Here's an example. I once worked on a project where the property manager had very specific and demanding expectations. They were initially quite critical of our cleaning approach. Rather than becoming defensive, I listened carefully to their concerns and asked clarifying questions to ensure I understood their perspective. I then proposed a revised plan that incorporated their feedback and addressed their concerns. We were able to complete the job to their satisfaction, and I learned valuable lessons about communication and adapting to different client personalities.
That's a fantastic example. It shows professionalism, your ability to remain calm under pressure, and your willingness to find solutions that meet everyone's needs.
Exactly, and it highlights your ability to turn a potentially negative situation into a positive learning experience. Now, let's say the interviewer probes a little deeper and asks, what specific communication techniques did you use to diffuse the situation? How would you respond to that? Oh, that's where you can really dive into the details of your interpersonal skills. You could talk about active listening techniques, using empathetic language, or finding common ground by focusing on shared goals. The key is to demonstrate that you have a toolkit of communication strategies that you can draw upon to navigate those challenging interactions.
That's great advice. Okay, let's move on to our next question. What steps do you take to ensure that you're providing excellent customer service to property owners and managers? Customer service is so important in any service-based industry, so how can you really shine in your answer?
You're absolutely right. Excellent customer service is vital in this field. This question allows you to demonstrate your understanding of client relationships and your commitment to exceeding expectations. Remember, it's not just about cleaning a building, it's about building trust and rapport with the client.
What's a common mistake candidates make when answering this question?
They often focus on the technical aspects of the job instead of the interpersonal skills involved in customer service. For example, saying, I make sure to use the right cleaning solution, doesn't really address the customer service element. You need to go beyond the tasks and show that you understand the bigger picture of those client relationships.
All right, so how can you really impress them with your answer? What specific steps should you highlight?
Here's a great example. I prioritize clear and consistent communication throughout the entire project. I start by actively listening to the client's needs and expectations, asking clarifying questions to ensure I understand their priorities. Then I provide regular updates on our progress, and I'm always responsive to their questions or concerns, no matter how small. I believe in going the extra mile to ensure their satisfaction, whether it's double-checking our work or addressing any minor issues promptly. Ultimately, my goal is to exceed their expectations and build a long-lasting relationship.
That's an excellent answer. It demonstrates your understanding of the importance of communication, responsiveness, and exceeding those client expectations.
It's all about building those relationships.
Now, what if the interviewer asks, can you give me an example of time when you went above and beyond to provide excellent customer service? What kind of story would you share?
This is your chance to share a specific anecdote that showcases your dedication to customer satisfaction. Maybe you accommodated a last-minute request, went out of your way to address a client's concern, or even offered additional services to ensure their complete happiness. The key is to show that you're willing to go the extra mile to make your clients feel valued and appreciated.
You know, it's really impressive how much thought and preparation goes into these seemingly simple interview questions. It's clear that to be successful in this field, you need more than just technical skills. You need excellent communication, problem-solving abilities, a commitment to safety, and a passion for providing outstanding customer service.
So you really want to make sure you nail those interview questions. And remember, practice makes perfect. The more you familiarize yourself with these questions, the more confident you'll be in that interview setting.
Absolutely. Speaking of feeling prepared, I'm really curious to hear more about this RoleCatcher AI. We touched on it a bit before, but I'm really interested to learn how it can help candidates really fine-tune those interview responses.
RoleCatcher's AI. Oh, it's a game changer. It's like having a personal interview coach right at your fingertips. What's really cool is it actually analyzes job descriptions, breaking them down to identify the specific skills and experience that the employer is looking for.
So it's not just spitting out generic advice. It's really tailoring its guidance to the specific job that you're applying for.
Exactly. It takes all the guesswork out of figuring out what the interviewer wants to hear. And the best part, it actually gives you personalized feedback on your answers, almost like a mock interview.
That sounds so helpful, especially for those behavioral questions where there's no one right answer. It can be tough to know if you're hitting the right notes and showcasing those skills that matter most to the employer.
Exactly. And that's where RoleCatcher's AI really shines. It can help you craft responses that demonstrate those key skills and qualities using language that resonates with the specific company and role.
So it's not about giving these canned or robotic responses. It's about understanding the nuances of what the interviewer is looking for and then presenting your experience in a way that aligns with their needs.
Exactly. It's about finding that balance between being genuine, showcasing your unique strengths and experiences while also being strategic in how you present yourself.
I can see how this could be such a game changer for job seekers, especially in today's market. So competitive.
Oh, it is.
Now, before we jump back into those interview questions, I wanted to touch on something we talked about earlier about the career path of a building exterior cleaner. The RoleCatcher Guide mentioned that there's real potential for growth in this field. It's not just a job. It's a career with opportunities for advancement and specialization.
Absolutely. And one of the things that I find fascinating about this field is that it's constantly evolving. New technologies are emerging, cleaning techniques are becoming more sophisticated, and there's that growing emphasis on sustainability.
That's exciting to hear. It means there's always something new to learn, new challenges to conquer.
Exactly. And that brings us back to that importance of ongoing learning and professional development, something we touched on earlier. Employers are looking for individuals who are passionate about this field, who are eager to learn and grow, and who are committed to staying ahead of the curve. So as you prepare for your interview, think about how you can showcase your commitment to ongoing learning, whether it's through industry certifications, workshops, or simply by staying informed about the latest trends and technologies.
That's great advice. It's all about showing the interviewer that you're not just looking for a job, but you're really looking for a career that you can grow and evolve in.
Exactly. And remember, those opportunities for growth and advancement, they often come from going above and beyond, showcasing your initiative and demonstrating your willingness to take on new challenges. So as we delve into these next interview questions, think about how you can use your answers to not only demonstrate your skills and experience, but to highlight your passion for this field and that eagerness to learn and grow.
That's great advice. It's all about seeing that bigger picture and positioning yourself for long-term success.
Exactly.
Now, are you ready to tackle some more interview questions? I'm curious to see what other challenges we can uncover.
Absolutely. Let's dive back in. This next question is all about teamwork. Can you describe a time when you had to work as part of a team to complete a challenging building exterior cleaning project? Teamwork is essential in so many aspects of this job, so it's no surprise that interviewers often want to assess your collaborative skills.
Makes sense. So what are some key things to keep in mind when answering this question?
Well, first and foremost, focus on demonstrating that ability to work effectively with others. Highlight your communication skills, your willingness to listen and compromise, and that ability to contribute to a shared goal. Teamwork really is all about synergy, where the combined effort is greater than the sum of the individual parts.
What would be a pitfall to avoid when answering this question?
Avoid taking all the credit for yourself. Even if you played, a leading role in the project, make sure to acknowledge the contributions of your team members, highlight how those individual strengths complemented each other, and how you work together to achieve a common goal. Teamwork is all about collaboration, not competition.
Okay, so what would a strong answer that showcases your teamwork skills sound like?
Here's an example. We were tasked with cleaning this large office building with a super tight deadline. The building had multiple levels and a variety of surfaces, which required a range of cleaning techniques and equipment. We divided up the workload based on our individual strengths, with some focusing on the pressure washing, others handling the window cleaning, and others tackling the graffiti removal. We communicated regularly throughout the project, sharing updates, addressing challenges, making sure everyone was on track. In the end, we completed the project on time and to a high standard, thanks to our collaborative approach and our willingness to support each other.
That's a great answer. It really highlights your ability to work effectively as part of a team, delegate those tasks, communicate clearly, and contribute to that shared success.
Absolutely.
Now, let's say the interviewer follows up with, can you give me a specific example of a challenge you faced as a team and how you overcame it? How would you respond to that?
That's a great opportunity to really showcase those problem-solving skills and that ability to work together under pressure. Think of a specific obstacle that you encountered during a project. Things like unexpected weather conditions, an equipment malfunction, or maybe a change in the scope of work. Then, describe how you collaborated as a team to assess the situation, brainstorm those solutions, and implement a plan to overcome the challenge. The key is to emphasize how teamwork and communication were essential to finding that successful resolution.
That makes perfect sense. It's all about showing the interviewer that you can handle those unexpected situations and work effectively as a team to find solutions.
For sure.
All right, let's shift gears a bit and focus on a question that really assesses your initiative. Can you describe a time when you went above and beyond the call of duty on a building exterior cleaning project? This question is all about demonstrating your work ethic, that commitment to quality, and that willingness to exceed expectations.
Absolutely. It's your chance to shine and show the interviewer that you're not just someone who clocks in and clocks out. You're someone who really takes pride in their work and goes the extra mile to deliver those exceptional results.
What are some key things to keep in mind when answering this question?
Choose an example that really highlights your dedication and initiative. It could be a time when you took on additional responsibilities, volunteered for a challenging task, or, found a really creative solution to a problem. The key is to show that you're not afraid to go above and beyond what's expected of you.
So, what would be a pitfall to avoid when answering this question?
Avoid bragging or exaggerating your accomplishments. Focus on those specific actions that you took and the positive impact they had, on the project or the client. Let your actions speak for themselves, rather than trying to oversell your contributions.
Okay, so what would a strong answer that showcases your initiative sound like?
Here's an example. We were cleaning this historic building that had all this intricate detailing and delicate stonework. I noticed that some of the carvings were particularly birdy, obscured by years of grime. While it wasn't explicitly part of the scope of work, I took the initiative to research appropriate cleaning methods for those delicate surfaces. I then consulted with my supervisor and proposed a plan to carefully clean those carvings. And they approved my plan, and I was able to restore those intricate details to their former glory. The client was thrilled with the results, and it was incredibly rewarding to know that my initiative made a real difference in preserving that beautiful historic building.
That's a fantastic answer. It really demonstrates your attention to detail, that willingness to go the extra mile, and your commitment to preserving the beauty and integrity of the buildings you work on. Now, what if the interviewer follows up with, what motivated you to go above and beyond in that situation? How would you respond to that?
Oh, that's a great opportunity to really highlight your passion for the work. You could talk about your pride and craftsmanship, your desire to exceed those client expectations, maybe even your appreciation for the historical significance of the building. The key is to convey that genuine enthusiasm and show that you're driven by more than just completing a task, that you're driven by a desire to do your absolute best work and make a positive impact.
That's a great point. It's all about showing the interviewer that you're not just looking for a job, but you're really looking for a way to make a difference.
For sure.
Now, before we move on to more interview questions, I wanted to touch on another aspect of the building exterior cleaner career path that we haven't discussed yet: specialization. The RoleCatcher guide mentioned that there are opportunities to specialize in certain areas, like graffiti removal, historic restoration, or even high-rise window cleaning.
That's right. As you gain experience in this field, you might find that you develop a particular interest, or aptitude for a certain type of cleaning, a certain type of building. And specializing in a niche area can open up all sorts of new opportunities, for career growth and advancement.
It's like becoming an expert in a specific craft, within that larger field of building exterior cleaning.
Exactly. So as you prepare for your interview, think about whether there are any areas that particularly interest you. Do you have a passion for restoring those historic buildings? Are you fascinated by the techniques that are used to remove graffiti? Or perhaps you're drawn to the challenges of high-rise window cleaning. If so, be sure to highlight those interests in your interview. It shows the interviewer that you're thinking about those long-term career goals and that you're eager to develop that specialized expertise.
That's fantastic advice. It's all about showcasing your passion, and positioning yourself for success in that specific niche within the field. Now, are you ready for another round of interview questions? I'm eager to see what other challenges we can uncover.
Absolutely. Let's dive back into those interview scenarios. This next question is all about problem solving. Can you describe a time when you encountered an unexpected problem while cleaning a building exterior and how you resolved it? Problem solving, that's an essential skill in any job, but especially in a field like building exterior cleaning, where you're often working outdoors, dealing with those unpredictable elements, and encountering unique challenges on each project.
I can definitely see that.
Oh.
So what are some key things to keep in mind when answering this question?
First and foremost, focus on demonstrating your ability to think critically, to find those creative solutions. Choose an example that highlights those analytical skills, your adaptability, your resourcefulness. Remember, the interviewer wants to see that you can handle those curveballs and keep the project moving forward.
What would be a pitfall to avoid when answering this question?
Avoid dwelling on the negative aspects of the situation. Instead, focus on the positive aspects of how you handled the problem. Highlight the steps you took to assess that situation, to brainstorm those solutions, and to implement a plan of action. Remember, it's not about avoiding problems altogether. It's about showing that you can handle them effectively and learn from that experience.
Okay, so what would a strong answer that showcases your problem-solving skills sound like?
Here's an example. We were pressure washing a brick facade when we encountered this area of stubborn graffiti that wouldn't come off, with our usual cleaning solutions. Rather than giving up or damaging the brick, I took the initiative to research different graffiti removal techniques. I discovered this specialized cleaning solution that was designed for removing stubborn graffiti from porous surfaces. I consulted with my supervisor, got the necessary supplies, and carefully tested that solution on a small, inconspicuous area. Once we were confident that it wouldn't damage that brick, we proceeded with the cleaning, and we were able to successfully remove the graffiti without compromising the integrity of the facade.
That's a great example. It highlights your resourcefulness, your willingness to learn, and that ability to find creative solutions to those unexpected problems. Now, what if the interviewer asks a follow-up question like, what did you learn from that experience that you now apply to all your projects? How would you respond to that?
That's a great follow-up. You could talk about the importance of thorough planning, the value of researching and staying up to date on the latest cleaning techniques and technologies, or maybe even the need to be adaptable and adjust your approach, as you encounter new challenges. The key is to show that you're constantly learning and growing as a professional, and that you're able to apply those lessons learned to future projects.
That's great advice. It's all about demonstrating your commitment to continuous improvement and your ability to adapt to new situations.
For sure.
Now, before we delve into more interview questions, I wanted to touch on a topic that's becoming increasingly important in the field of building exterior cleaning technology. The RoleCatcher Guide mentioned that new technologies are emerging, and they're really changing the way buildings are cleaned and maintained. From those advanced pressure washing systems to robotic window cleaners, and even drones that are equipped with cleaning attachments. There's a lot of exciting innovation happening in this field.
Absolutely. And as a prospective building exterior cleaner, you know it's really important to be aware of these technological advancements and how they're shaping the industry. Employers are looking for individuals who are tech savvy, who are eager to learn new systems, and who can adapt to the changing landscape of the profession.
So, as you're preparing for your interview, it's a good idea to do some research on those latest cleaning technologies. Familiarize yourself with the different types of equipment, the benefits they offer, and how they're being used in the field.
Exactly. And don't be afraid to ask questions about the specific technologies that the company uses during your interview. It shows that you're curious, that you're keeping up with industry trends, and that you're eager to learn and grow.
That's great advice. It's all about showing the interviewer that you're not just someone who can operate a pressure washer. You're someone who understands that broader technological landscape of the profession, and you're excited to be a part of its evolution. Now, are you ready for another round of interview questions? I'm eager to explore some more challenging scenarios and see how we can use our newfound knowledge and skills to craft those winning responses. Absolutely. Let's dive back into those interview questions. This next one focuses on communication skills. Can you describe a time when you had to communicate effectively with a client to resolve a difficult situation? Communication's crucial, in any customer-facing role, and building exterior cleaning is no exception. Clients can have a wide range of expectations, concerns, and personalities, and it's essential to be able to communicate clearly, listen attentively, and really find common ground. I can definitely see that. What are some key things to keep in mind when answering this question?
First and foremost, choose an example that highlights your ability to handle those challenging interactions with clients in a professional and diplomatic manner. Describe that situation clearly, emphasizing those communication challenges you faced and the specific steps you took to resolve them. Focus on demonstrating your active listening skills, your ability to empathize with the client's perspective, and your willingness to find solutions that meet everyone's needs.
What would be a pitfall to avoid when answering this question?
Avoid blaming the client or making excuses for, any misunderstandings or miscommunications. Remember, the interviewer is assessing your communication skills, not your ability to shift blame. Instead, focus on those positive aspects of how you handled that situation and the lessons you learned about effective communication.
Okay, so what would a strong answer that showcases your communication skills sound like?
Here's an example. We were cleaning this residential property when the homeowner expressed concern about the cleaning solution we were using near their prized rose bushes. They were worried that the chemicals might damage those plants. So I took the time to listen to their concerns, acknowledging their love for their garden and that desire to protect their roses. I then explained those safety precautions we take when using cleaning solutions near landscaping, assuring them that we always prioritize the health and well-being of their property. I also offered to adjust our cleaning approach, using a different cleaning solution, in that particular area, or even hand cleaning that area near the rose bushes, just to ensure their peace of mind. The homeowner appreciated my willingness to listen, my understanding of their concerns, and my proactive approach to finding a solution. We were able to complete the project to their satisfaction, and I learned the importance of clear communication, empathy, and flexibility when working with clients.
That's a fantastic example. It highlights your ability to listen attentively, address those concerns respectfully, and find solutions that meet everyone's needs.
It's all about understanding and communication.
Now, let's say the interviewer follows up with, what specific communication techniques did you use to diffuse that situation and build rapport with a homeowner? How would you respond to that?
Oh, that's a great opportunity to really dive into the specifics of those strategies you use to communicate effectively. You could talk about active listening techniques like paraphrasing the client's concerns to ensure understanding, using empathetic language to show that you're genuinely listening and care about their perspective. You could also highlight that ability to ask those open-ended questions to gather more information, clarify any misunderstandings. The key is to demonstrate that you have a toolkit, so to speak, of communication strategies that you can draw upon to navigate those challenging interactions and really build those strong relationships with clients.
That's great advice. It's all about showcasing your ability to communicate effectively and build that rapport, even in those potentially tense situations. Now, before we move on to more interview questions, I wanted to circle back to something we talked about earlier, using RoleCatcher's AI to help you prepare for that interview. We've talked about how it can analyze job descriptions, tailor your answers, but I'm curious to learn more about the feedback it provides. How does it actually help you improve your responses?
RoleCatcher's AI feedback.
Hmm.
Oh, it's incredibly valuable. It goes beyond simply telling you whether your answer's good or bad. It actually provides specific insights into the strengths and weaknesses of your response, helping you identify those areas for improvement. For example, it might suggest using stronger action verbs to highlight your accomplishments, or recommend incorporating specific keywords from the job description, to better align your skills with the employer's needs.
So it's like having an editor for your interview responses.
Exactly. It helps you polish those answers, ensuring that they're clear, concise, and impactful. It even provides guidance on things like, tone and delivery, helping you strike that right balance between professionalism and personality.
That's amazing. It sounds like a truly comprehensive tool for interview prep.
It is.
Now, are you ready to tackle another round of interview questions? I'm eager to explore some more challenging scenarios and see how we can use our knowledge, skills, and the power of AI to craft winning responses.
Absolutely. Let's dive back in. This next question focuses on adaptability. Can you describe a time when you had to adapt to a change in plans or procedures while working on a building exterior cleaning project? Adaptability is a crucial skill in any job, but especially in a field like this, where those unexpected challenges and last-minute changes are commonplace. Weather conditions can shift, equipment can malfunction, clients can change their minds. It's essential to be able to adjust your approach, keep the project moving forward.
I can definitely see that. So what are some key things to keep in mind when answering this question?
First and foremost, choose an example that really highlights your ability to remain calm, to think critically, and to find solutions when faced with those unexpected circumstances. Describe that situation clearly, emphasizing those specific challenges you faced and the steps you took to adapt your approach. Focus on demonstrating that flexibility, those problem-solving skills, and that willingness to embrace change.
What would be a pitfall to avoid when answering this question?
Avoid complaining about the change, or blaming others for the disruption. Remember, that interviewer is assessing your ability to handle change, not your ability to assign blame. Instead, focus on those positive aspects of how you adapted to that situation and the lessons you learned about being flexible and resourceful.
Okay, so what would a strong answer that showcases your adaptability sound like?
Here's an example. We were scheduled to clean the windows of this high-rise building, and a sudden storm rolled in, making it really unsafe to work at that height. Rather than canceling the project and rescheduling for another day, which would have inconvenienced the client and disrupted our workflow, we quickly assessed the situation and decided to shift our focus to those interior cleaning tasks that could be completed safely despite the weather. We communicated that change in plans to the client, explaining the safety concerns and outlining the alternative tasks we would be completing. The client was so appreciative of our flexibility and our willingness to find a solution that kept the project moving forward. We were able to complete a significant portion of that interior cleaning that day, minimizing the disruption caused by that unexpected weather. And I learned the importance of being adaptable, having a backup plan, and communicating clearly with clients, when those unexpected challenges arise.
That's a great example. It highlights your ability to think on your feet, find creative solutions, and communicate effectively with those clients.
Absolutely.
Now, what if the interviewer follows up with, what specific steps did you take to ensure that the change in plans was communicated effectively to all team members and that client? How would you respond to that?
Oh, that's a great opportunity to really showcase those communication skills and your ability to manage change effectively. You could talk about how you used clear and concise language to explain the situation, actively listening to any concerns or questions, and providing regular updates to keep everyone informed. You could also highlight your ability to use technology, things like text messages, emails, or project management software to ensure that everyone's on the same page.
That's excellent advice. It's all about demonstrating your ability to communicate effectively, manage those expectations, and maintain a smooth workflow, even in the face of those unexpected changes. Now, before we move on to more interview questions, I wanted to touch on another important aspect of that building exterior cleaner career path: safety training and certifications. The RoleCatcher Guide mentioned that there are a variety of safety certifications and training programs available for professionals in this field.
That's right. And pursuing these certifications demonstrates your commitment to safety, your knowledge of best practices, and that willingness to invest in your professional development. It's a great way to stand out from other candidates, to show potential employers that you take safety seriously.
So as you're preparing for your interview, it's a good idea to research those different safety certifications that are relevant to the specific type of building exterior cleaning that you're interested in.
Exactly. For example, if you're interested in high-rise window cleaning, you might want to look into certifications related to rope access techniques and fall protection. Or, if you're interested in working with specialized cleaning chemicals, you might want to pursue certifications in hazardous materials handling. Not only will these certifications enhance your knowledge and skills, but they'll also demonstrate that commitment to safety and that willingness to go that extra mile to be a qualified and responsible professional.
That's fantastic advice. It's all about showcasing your dedication to safety and your commitment to professional growth. Now, are you ready for another round of interview questions? I'm curious to explore some more challenging scenarios and see how we can use our knowledge, skills, and the power of certifications to craft those winning responses.
Absolutely. Let's dive back into those interview questions. This next one focuses on customer service and problem solving. Can you describe a time when you had to go above and beyond to satisfy a difficult client? In any service-based industry, there will be times when you encounter challenging clients, and building exterior cleaning is no exception. Clients can have a wide range of expectations, personalities, communication styles, and it's essential to be able to handle those challenging interactions with professionalism, diplomacy, and a commitment to finding solutions.
I can definitely see that. What are some key things to keep in mind when answering this question?
First and foremost, choose an example that highlights your ability to remain calm, patient, and solution-oriented when faced with a demanding or dissatisfied client. Describe that situation clearly, emphasizing the specific challenges that you encountered and the steps that you took to address the client's concerns and ultimately resolve the situation. Focus on demonstrating those active listening skills, that empathy and your willingness to go that extra mile to ensure customer satisfaction.
What would be a pitfall to avoid when answering this question?
Avoid bad-mouthing the client or making excuses for, any misunderstandings or miscommunications. Remember, the interviewer is assessing your customer service skills, not your ability to assign blame. Instead, focus on the positive aspects of how you handled that situation and the lessons you learned about effective communication, conflict resolution, and exceeding those client expectations.
Okay, so what would a strong answer that showcases your customer service skills and those problem-solving abilities sound like?
Here's an example. We were cleaning the exterior of a restaurant when the owner expressed dissatisfaction with the progress we were making. They felt that we weren't moving quickly enough and that we weren't paying close enough attention to detail. Rather than becoming defensive or arguing with the owner, I took the time to listen to their concerns, acknowledging their frustration and assuring them that we were committed to providing high-quality work and meeting their expectations. I then asked clarifying questions to better understand their specific concerns, such as whether there were particular areas they felt we'd missed or if there were certain aspects of the cleaning they wanted us to prioritize. And based on their feedback, I adjusted our approach, reallocating team members to focus on those areas of concern and double-checking our work to ensure that we were meeting their standards. I also provided regular updates to the owner, keeping them informed of our progress and addressing any questions or concerns they had. In the end, we were able to complete the project to their satisfaction, and I learned the importance of clear communication, active listening, and a willingness to go that extra mile to meet the needs of even those most demanding clients.
That's a fantastic example. It highlights your ability to remain professional under pressure, Listen attentively to those client concerns and adapt your approach to meet their needs.
It's all about going above and beyond.
Now, let's say the interviewer follows up with, what specific steps did you take to turn that situation around and build a positive relationship with that restaurant owner? How would you respond to that?
That's a great opportunity to really dive into those specific strategies you use to diffuse that situation and build rapport with the client. You could talk about how you used empathetic language to show that you understood their frustration, you acknowledged their concerns, and reassured them that you were committed to finding a solution. You could also highlight that ability to ask open-ended questions, to gather more information, to clarify any misunderstandings, and to demonstrate that willingness to collaborate to find a resolution that worked for everyone. The key is to show that you're not afraid to handle those difficult conversations, that you value customer feedback, and that you're committed to building strong relationships with clients, even when faced with those challenges.
That's great advice. It's all about showing the interviewer that you have those interpersonal skills and the customer service mindset, to navigate those tricky situations and really turn a potentially negative experience into a positive outcome. Now, before we wrap up this section, I wanted to circle back to something we mentioned earlier, using RoleCatcher's AI to help you prepare for your interview. We've talked about how it can analyze job descriptions, tailor your answers, and provide feedback. But I'm curious to learn more about how it can help you practice for those behavioral questions, which can often be, the most challenging part of an interview.
RoleCatcher's AI. Oh, it's an incredible tool for practicing those behavioral interview questions. It provides a simulated interview experience, allowing you to answer questions and receive instant feedback on your responses. It even uses voice recognition technology to analyze your tone and delivery, helping you fine-tune that communication style and ensure that you're conveying confidence and professionalism.
Wow, that sounds incredibly helpful. It's like having a personal interview coach available 24/7. How does it actually work?
It's pretty simple. You select the specific job role you're interviewing for, and RoleCatcher's AI generates a series of behavioral interview questions tailored to that role. You then answer those questions just as if you were in an actual interview, speaking into your microphone. RoleCatcher's AI listens to your responses, analyzes your content, tone, and delivery, and provides that instant feedback, highlighting those areas for improvement and suggesting ways to strengthen your answers.
That's amazing. It seems like a truly comprehensive tool for interview preparation.
Oh, it is.
Now, are you ready to tackle another round of interview questions? I'm eager to explore some more challenging scenarios and see how we can use our knowledge, our skills, and the power of AI to craft those winning responses.
Absolutely. Let's dive back into those interview questions. This next one focuses on time management and prioritization. Can you describe a time when you had to manage multiple tasks or deadlines while working on a building exterior cleaning project?
Time management. Oh, it's an essential skill in any job, but especially in a field like building exterior cleaning, where projects often involve those multiple tasks, those tight deadlines, and unexpected challenges. It's important to be able to prioritize effectively, to delegate tasks when necessary, and to stay organized to ensure that everything gets done on time, to a high standard.
I can definitely see that. What are some key things to keep in mind when answering this question? First and foremost, choose an example that highlights your ability to stay organized, to prioritize effectively, and manage your time wisely. Describe the situation clearly, emphasizing those specific challenges you faced in terms of multiple tasks or deadlines and the strategies used to stay on track and meet those objectives. Focus on demonstrating those planning skills, your ability to delegate when necessary, and your commitment to delivering high-quality work even under pressure.
What would be a pitfall to avoid when answering this question?
Avoid complaining about the workload, or blaming others for any delays or setbacks. Remember that interviewers assessing your time management skills, not your ability to shift blame. Instead, focus on the positive aspects of how you handled that situation and the lessons you learn about staying organized, prioritizing effectively, and working efficiently even under pressure.
Okay, so what would a strong answer that showcases your time management skills sound like?
Here's an example. We were tasked with cleaning this large commercial building that had multiple levels, different types of surfaces, a variety of cleaning needs. We had a tight deadline to meet, and there were several unexpected challenges that arose during the project, things like equipment malfunctions and last-minute requests from the client. So to ensure that we stayed on track and met that deadline, I created a detailed schedule outlining all the tasks that needed to be completed, assigning specific team members to each task, setting clear deadlines for each phase of the project. I also made sure to prioritize the most critical tasks, such as those that were on the critical path for meeting that deadline or those that were essential for ensuring the safety of the team and the client's property. I delegated tasks to team members, based on their strengths and experience, empowering them to really take ownership of those responsibilities and contribute to the overall success of the project. Throughout the project, I regularly communicated with the team, providing updates on our progress, addressing any challenges that arose, making adjustments to the schedule as needed. In the end, we were able to complete that project on time and to the client's satisfaction, demonstrating our ability to work effectively under pressure, to manage those multiple tasks and deadlines and deliver those high quality results.
That's a fantastic example. It highlights those planning skills, your ability to delegate effectively, and your commitment to meeting those deadlines, even in the face of those unexpected challenges.
It's all about staying organized and focused.
Now, let's say the interviewer follows up with, what specific tools or techniques do you use to stay organized and manage your time effectively? How would you respond to that?
That's a great opportunity to really showcase those organizational skills and your knowledge of time management techniques. You can talk about those specific tools you use, things like calendars, to-do lists, project management software to stay on top of your tasks and those deadlines. You could also mention techniques like time blocking, where you allocate those specific blocks of time, to particular tasks, or the Pomodoro technique, where you work in focused bursts with short breaks in between. The key is to demonstrate that you have a system in place that works for you and that helps you stay organized, prioritize effectively, and maximize your productivity.
That's great advice. It's all about showing the interviewer that you're proactive and intentional about managing your time and that you have the tools and techniques to stay organized and meet those deadlines. Now, before we move on to more interview questions, I'd like to touch on another important aspect of the building exterior cleaner career path, building relationships with clients. The RoleCatcher Guide mentioned that building strong relationships with clients is essential for long-term success in this field.
That's absolutely right. In any service-based industry, repeat business is crucial, and building strong relationships with those clients is the key to generating those referrals and securing those ongoing projects. Clients want to work with people they trust, people who understand their needs, and people who consistently deliver those high-quality results. And building those relationships takes time, effort, and a genuine commitment to customer satisfaction.
So as you're preparing for your interview, it's a good idea to think about how you can showcase your interpersonal skills and that ability to build rapport with those clients. What are some specific qualities or experiences that you can highlight?
Certainly. You can talk about your communication skills, your ability to listen attentively, and your willingness to go that extra mile to meet those client expectations. You can also mention any experiences you have with building those long-term relationships with clients, like securing repeat business or receiving positive feedback or referrals. The key is to show that you understand the importance of building strong client relationships, and that you have the skills and the mindset to really foster those connections.
That's excellent advice. It's all about demonstrating your commitment to customer satisfaction and showcasing your ability to build trust and rapport with those clients. Now, are you ready for another round of interview questions? I'm eager to explore some more challenging scenarios and see how we can use our knowledge, our skills, and the power of those strong client relationships to craft those winning responses.
Absolutely. Let's dive back into those interview questions. This next one focuses on safety awareness and risk assessment. Can you describe a time when you identified a potential safety hazard while working on a building exterior cleaning project and how you addressed it? Safety is paramount in any job, but especially in a field like building exterior cleaning where you're often working at heights, using specialized equipment, handling potentially hazardous materials. It's essential to have a strong safety awareness to be able to identify those potential hazards and to take those proactive steps to mitigate risks.
I can definitely see that. So what are some key things to keep in mind when answering this question?
First and foremost, choose an example that highlights your ability to be observant, to think critically about those potential safety risks, and to take decisive action to address those risks. Describe the situation clearly, emphasizing that specific hazard you identified, those potential consequences if the hazard had not been addressed, and those steps you took to mitigate that risk. Focus on demonstrating your knowledge of those safety protocols. Your ability to communicate effectively with your team, and your commitment to creating a safe working environment for yourself and others.
What would be a pitfall to avoid when answering this question?
Avoid downplaying the seriousness of the hazard or suggesting that you took unnecessary precautions. Remember, that interviewer is assessing your safety awareness and your commitment to following those protocols. You know, not your willingness to take shortcuts. Instead, focus on the positive aspects of how you identified and addressed that hazard, and the importance of always prioritizing safety on the job site.
Okay, so what would a strong answer that showcases your safety awareness and those proactive problem-solving skills sound like?
All right, here's one. We were preparing to clean the roof of this building when I noticed that one of the safety harnesses, it had a frayed strap. It wasn't a major tear, but it was definitely a potential weak point. I immediately brought it to the attention of my supervisor, explaining the issue and that potential risk it posed. We decided to take the harness out of service and replace it with a new one, even though it meant, a slight delay in starting the job. I knew that even a minor equipment flaw could have serious consequences, and I wasn't willing to compromise safety, for the sake of expediency. The client was totally understanding of the delay, and they appreciated our commitment to safety. I learned that day that it's always better to err on the side of caution when it comes to safety, and that speaking up about those potential hazards is absolutely crucial, for creating a safe working environment.
That's a really powerful example. It shows that you prioritize safety above all else, and you're willing to take action, to protect yourself and those team members.
Safety first, always.
Now, let's say the interviewer follows up with, what steps did you take to ensure that the rest of the team was aware of that potential hazard and the importance of inspecting their equipment thoroughly? How would you respond to that?
That's a great follow-up question. It really digs into those leadership skills and your commitment to fostering a culture of safety.
Exactly.
You could talk about how you use the incident as a learning opportunity for the whole team, emphasizing that importance of regular equipment inspections and reporting any potential hazards. You could also mention that you shared information, about proper harness inspection techniques with your colleagues, ensuring that everyone was equipped with the knowledge to identify those potential safety issues. The key is to demonstrate that you're not just concerned about your own safety, but the safety of everyone on that job site.
It's all about creating a culture of safety where everyone is empowered to speak up and address those potential hazards.
Absolutely. Now, before we wrap up this deep dive into building exterior cleaner interview prep, I want to circle back to something we talked about earlier, using AI to help you prepare for that interview. We've discussed how RoleCatcher's AI can analyze job descriptions, tailor your answers, provide feedback, and even simulate those interview experiences. But I think it's worth emphasizing just how valuable this tool can be in really boosting your confidence and helping you present yourself as a strong candidate.
I completely agree. It's like having a secret weapon in your arsenal, helping you navigate those tricky interview questions and really showcase your skills and experience in the best possible light.
Exactly. RoleCatcher's AI takes all that guesswork out of interview prep, providing you with those insights and guidance you need to stand out from the crowd. And that extra boost of confidence can make all the difference in how you present yourself, how you answer those questions, and ultimately how successful you are in landing that job.
It's all about maximizing your potential and really putting your best foot forward.
Precisely. And remember, the more you practice, the more confident you'll become. RoleCatcher's AI gives you the opportunity to rehearse those answers, to refine that delivery, and to really get comfortable with the interview process. So don't be afraid to embrace technology and leverage those tools to your advantage.
That's excellent advice. And, even beyond the technical aspects of the job, I think what really shines through in these RoleCatcher guides is the passion behind this profession. It's not just about cleaning buildings. It's about restoring beauty, preserving history, and even contributing to a more sustainable future.
You're absolutely right. And I think that passion, that's something you can really convey in your interview. Talk about what excites you about this work, whether it's that satisfaction of transforming a grimy facade into a sparkling masterpiece, that challenge of tackling those hard to reach spots, or the pride you take in contributing to the upkeep of your community. Let that enthusiasm shine through, and it'll make a lasting impression on the interviewer.
It's all about showing the interviewer that you're not just looking for a job, you're looking for a way to make a difference.
Exactly. And remember, preparation is key to success. So take the time to review those RoleCatcher guides, practice your answers, leverage that power of AI, and go into that interview feeling confident and ready to impress. We know you can do it.
And one final thought, as you embark on that building exterior cleaner career journey, don't underestimate the power of visuals. The guide mentioned creating a portfolio of before and after photos, but I think you can take that a step further.
Hmm.
What about a time-lapse video, showcasing that cleaning process? Or even a short video, highlighting your expertise in a specific area, like graffiti removal or delicate restoration work?
Those are fantastic ideas. It's all about going that extra mile to demonstrate your passion, your skills, and your unique approach to the work. And remember, you're not just cleaning those buildings, you're transforming them. So let your creativity shine through.
Exactly. And who knows, maybe someday we'll be featuring your work, on an episode of the Deep Dive.
We can't wait to see what you accomplish. Best of luck with that interview.
That's it for our deep dive into building exterior cleaner interview prep. We hope you found this episode helpful and insightful. Remember, with the right preparation, the right mindset, and the right tools, you can achieve anything you set your mind to. So go out there, shine bright, and make those buildings sparkle.
Until next time, happy cleaning.